As a book.
Oh. Morning all phones off, we okay?
Yep.
If you can wait for the microphone and move it around, that'd be appreciated. If you don't social media or anything until after Chris has finished, then that'd be appreciated as well. And we'll also embargo a little bit for the Mondays for the scribblers at the end, if that's all right. Graves, are you going to kick off?
Yep. Chris, before we look ahead to the weekend that's coming, obviously Dean Henderson got called up first of all to join the England squad. Your comments on that?
Yeah, fantastic experience for Dean. And now his challenge is to stay in the squad by playing very, very well for us, because he's going to have to do that. He's been outstanding for us, as I've talked about, for quite a long time. And even though some people might not think it, I'm quite a big supporter of him. And it was reward for not just a good start to his Premier League season, but his performances right the way through, and obviously for England at international level before the senior squad. Have you had a chance to talk to him since he got back? Because as international baptisms go, just being around the squad, I imagine this was a bit different from losing, obviously, in the Czech Republic, or being part of that squad, and then everything that went on the other night in Bulgaria. He'll possibly have some stories to tell, and possibly tell us how good he's been while he's been away with the international team. But no, I've not. The international boys will be back in today, so fingers crossed regarding John Egan, Ender, and Callum. They come back healthy, and first reports are that they're okay, and Dean as well. But as I said, it's been obviously an experience for Dean. Good experience, obviously being involved at international level, and obviously a question that you're going to ask me and every manager between now and the weekend, I should imagine. On that note then, looking from afar as we did, what were your thoughts on everything that went on off the field in Bulgaria on Monday night, when certainly over here there's been such a concerted effort to stamp out racism from football? Yeah, it was a terrible experience for everybody connected with the England national setup. I've got to say, I thought the players handled it outstandingly well, and that was led by Gareth as well. You know, the way he dealt with the situation was absolutely first class, and not surprised, because he is not just tactically excellent, I believe, and the way he's managed, especially a young group of players, but his man management skills were first class, and his sort of feel of the situation was brilliant. So from the England players and the staff point of view, terrible experience. Obviously, they went through the protocol. I believe they made the right decision to stay on the pitch and do the football, let the football do the talking. But off the back of that, people have talked, and as I said, every manager will be saying the same thing today. It's something that's got to happen. Sanctions, UEFA, and even from higher authority point of view as well. Governments, I think the police have already got involved as well this morning as well. So it has to be stamped out, and there has to be zero tolerance to this type of behaviour. How important is it in situations such as this that players, coaches do rely on the support they're given? Because you're out of your comfort zone. Everyone outside of the camp seems to have an opinion. People talking about, players should have just walked off. But you've got to rely on the advice you're given from the authorities, don't you? Yeah, 100%. But they're human beings, and they've got to make the right decision for themselves individually, as it's been spoke about from certain players, and from a team point of view, and the whole collective really, which they certainly did. So they'd have known something was going to kick off. Well, I think that's obviously obvious to everybody that was going to happen. So they would have had thoughts and plans laid out to deal with the scenario as it unfolded, and they certainly did, and I believe they did the right thing. And there is always, as I said, different opinions on should they have walked off, should they have stayed on. and that is always going to be there, isn't it? Regarding, we've already. I've already witnessed it in the Premier League that it's the biggest league in the world, and there's going to be opinions about everything. And then obviously from an international point of view and a social point of view, it's massive, and it creates opinions and debate what should have happened. But I think the right thing happened from what Gareth did and the players did, and as I said, handled it magnificently.
Let's look ahead to the Premier League returning again. Then, first of all, you don't play till Monday night. Is that a help or a hindrance with players coming back from international duty?
Yeah, we've we've talked about how proud we are that the players have been involved on the international scene now. So, there was a couple of our boys had really tough game last night for the Republic. As we all talk about, we want as much time to prepare as possible. So that does give us an extra couple of days to do that, which we need when we're coming up against such a top side as we are on Monday night.
There seems to be a lot of speculation about Unai Emery's position at Arsenal. Looking down the results, they've only lost once this season. They're a point behind Manchester City in the Premier League. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, third in the division, and again another fantastic manager who's been successful at other jobs, and will obviously want to carry that on at such a historic, iconic club as Arsenal. So it's yet again another brilliant fixture for us as a football club. Last time out at home it was, and I was delighted with everything that happened during that, the lead up, the game. As I said, every Premier League game is an event, and it's a brilliant experience. And then off the back of that, you want to play well. Your performance levels have to be high at this level. And the thing that we have to make sure that we do or try to do is pick up something from the game, and we believe we can. It's no good going into it thinking let's keep the score down and let's sit back. We want to have a go at the opposition, but yet again understanding the threats and the power and the pace, especially at the top of the pitch, that fantastic team like Arsenal possess. And a lot of things that we're going to have to do well to curb that. You've
said all along that you want Bramall Lane to be something of a fortress, to be a difficult place for all the teams to come and play at. So with that in mind, then how much do you lean on that performance you had here against Liverpool, where but for a mistake you would have got a point? I think all the performances so far, and we talked about it, our away record's obviously been better than our home record in terms of points. I think the performances at home have been really good. Possibly first half against Leicester, but that's Leicester as well. And it wasn't. We weren't 3, 4, 5 down at half time. We were in the game, and we've been competitive in all the home games. And we have to add the goals, obviously, the final bit in both boxes that picks us points up. And people talked about. For us to have a successful season, we have to pick up points at Bramall Lane, and we do, and we understand that. We've been delighted with our away form, we're delighted with our away results that we've accumulated, and now we have to focus on getting that performance right again, and adding the final little bits, which are the hardest bits to understand. To stick the ball in the back of net and to concentrate for 95 minutes in terms of keeping clean sheets, but. We've done that, we've been sound defensively. The shape of the team's been really good, and I believe, we've not, been a defensive-minded team as well, which is very encouraging and gives us a lot of confidence. We've gone after teams. We went after Liverpool, in the time that we could, and picked our times, and we're going to have to do the same against Arsenal on Monday. And just finally from me, granted, I know some of the international boys are still to come back. You had a couple that didn't go away because they had niggles. How are we looking in terms of fitness and team news? Yeah, we'll give them as much time as possible. John Flake pulled out the Scotland squad. Ollie McBurney obviously had an issue with his knee, and David McGoldrick, so they're important players for us as well. So we'll give them enough time and opportunities to be available to pick from, because I'm gonna have to, as I said, yet again get that right as well. Picking the right. Just have to wait and see, and just every day changes, and every day gives them the opportunity of making the squad on Monday night.
Because they've had all had injuries that are what if injuries, aren't they? Like hamstrings that from one day to the next might be different.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've got to clear them first and foremost. You know, we can't take risks on them. We can't just, you know, take the big gamble of sticking them out there. You know, I don't think that would be fair on players that are fit as well. So they have to do a clearance session. They're working extremely hard, you know, over this international period. You know, yeah, there's a few of the boys had days off, but you know, the injured boys were in and working extremely hard because, you know, first and foremost, we need to get them healthy and fit and give us an opportunity of selecting them.
Within training, then, what's been the plan over the international break? What have you looked to address?
Well, yeah, we've analysed our first 8 games. There's certain things that we feel we can do better from a shape point of view and team point of view. I don't think there's been, you know, an awful lot wrong with the performances, as I've said, and the final bits which we keep talking about. As I said, the most difficult parts of the game. Keep concentrating. Don't make mistakes. Don't let good players have opportunities to hurt you, which I feel we've not. And obviously at the top end of the pitch, we need to be more clinical with. And that's not just everything, you know. It's the attention to detail, the final pass, run, cross, whatever it is, finish, the set plays, because these are deciding games. You know, we've not got big issues in terms of the shape. We understand that we're in the Premier League, going to be on the back foot for periods of the game. We accept that, but we're competitive in our approach as well, as you know. You've seen us and the approach that we've taken to all the games. So you know, we have to be better in those key moments, and I'm sure we have. We've got the quality to do that, and maybe a little bit of confidence here and there, and somebody scoring one gets them up and running. But it's not just them as well. It's, you know, it's other situations. You know, wide centre halves getting into good positions, showing quality. You know, wing backs, midfield players, right the way through. Set plays. You know, I was critical of John Egan in terms of Ollie McBurney's disallowed goal against Southampton. You know, timings of runs and stuff like that. You know, little details like that. So we have to get it all right, because, you know, these are fine details that decide Premier League points, and every point that we pick up is precious.
I wonder how much in the key to the solid start to the season has been. There haven't been many changes. Eight players have started every Premier League game. Obviously, injuries with Fleck and the strikers have changed, but pretty much everybody else has started every game as a key reason why you've made the start that you have.
Yeah, I believe that. You know, I believe in stability, especially from the back. In terms of the shape, I think the midfield three have done outstandingly well. You know, Fleck, Lundstram and Norwood. Luke Freeman played early part of the season as well when John got injured. So that there's been continuity in there. At the top of the pitch, yeah, of course, I'm not so sure if it's trying to find the right partnership. I think the partnerships have worked. You know, it's just the individual moments that they have, all of them, and picking them for the right games as well. I think that is key. And yeah, people might say, well, they need a run of games and whatever. I understand that to a certain extent, but you know, that's what they're paid to do, to link the play, give us all those attributes that make us a decent team. But ultimately, yeah, when chances come across, come around, you know, that we have to make sure that we're a little bit more clinical at the top of the pitch. And then you're going to ask me about why ain't Billy Sharp playing?
Well, it's not just about Sharp. Yeah. Well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, everybody's got their preferred formation, haven't they? And, you know, at times with the midfield, Luke Freeman coming back, the lazy line that's just in my head is taking the shackles off at times and all that. Does that come into your thought process?
I don't think taking the shackles off when we're playing Liverpool, what people expect us to do, go absolutely steaming forward and get picked off by one of the best counter-attacking teams in Europe who won the Champions League. So, yeah. And we go to Watford and they play 8 at the back and 2 at the top of the pitch, and the 5 of them don't move. And that's sort of the way at Watford when we have 61% of possession. So I'm not sure that's taking the shackles off. We've got to find a way to add that find a little bit, and then that brings the likes of Watford out, and then things might happen. But you know, this is an experience that we're all learning from as well. But I certainly don't agree with taking the shackles off. I think we have gone for games, and we get pushed back in games, which is understandable at this level.
Rich alluded to the talk about Arsenal and yes, they're third, etc. I wonder if away from home they serve evidence that they might be a bit susceptible. Yeah, they're a great team and they're third, but away from home they've not been as good, have they?
Well, they've got outstanding players, so is that a case from their point of view that to get their season up and running they need to start winning games away from home, possibly so. But I'm not going to start commenting on what Arsenal are about and what they need to do. And now they need to approach games. I need to fully concentrate on my own team. And that's what we've been doing. But we're competitive and we fancy our chances. We're bullish, as you can obviously imagine, because that's the approach that we take. And we were against Liverpool. The crowd have been absolutely amazing at home, and that's not me rubbing their heads, because they know how important it is for them to be on the front foot and make it hostile, noisy. And I know the last manager who came here commented on it as well, which was a real pat on the back for the way our ground is set up and the atmosphere that's inside it. And we'll need that Monday night, and I'm sure that'll happen. Night game at Bramall Lane under the lights, live on Sky, something that we're really looking forward to, and getting after the opposition, but understanding that the quality that you've got.
Yeah, and for all of those stars, who are the ones you specifically maybe pick out as must stop them?
Well, they've got 10 minutes. I mean, they've got to take right the way through the team. You don't individually, they don't get to where they are in their careers by being bang average, and they're not. Whether it's David Luiz or right the way through. Captain of Switzerland was playing the other night, and at the top of the pitch. I think the Premier League Player of the Month. Lacazette looks as if he's going to be available. They spent 50-60 million pound on the winger. So this is just elite level football, as I keep saying, and invested in quality. So I think you always look at the top of the pitch, of course, and the players that they've got, and they've even got some players who are not even getting in the squad now, who are quite tasty.
What do you think it says about the industry right now that a guy who's won things in Europe and a team that are third they're questioning his future right now?
Well, I think somebody was questioning my future, weren't you, on your radio show a couple of weeks ago?
That doesn't mean to say you need to take it seriously. But
I didn't.
No, I know you didn't. So that's it. But it's not. I mean, the phoning thing aside, they do, don't they? And whether it's at Man U right now, at Arsenal.
We've even witnessed it ourselves so far after 8 games. We're going to be all right. First we're definitely going to get relegated. Then we've won a couple of games and they're going to be all right. They're going to shock a few people, and then we haven't beaten Watford, so they'll be back down the bottom again. So I think it's like I keep saying, it's quite a decent phrase I use. I think noise and nonsense. They'll know that they've got quality in that group and as a manager, and I think we all have to sort of put our hands to our ears at times and block out all the noise and get on with the most important thing, which is winning points of football and adding to that total.
I just wonder, have you had any connection with Unai Emery? A few weeks ago I saw Dean Smith, and he'd gone off to Valencia when he was there and had taken a look while he was doing his licence. Just wonder...
He went on holiday. He was on holiday. We all do that. Tie a football game into an holiday. I was at the managers' meeting, the Premier League managers' meeting at the start of the season, so I met him briefly.
And organise your next holiday then.
Yeah.
Tell me, I'm hopefully going to see George Baldock a little later on. Can you tell me how you think he's taken to the Premier League?
Brilliant. I think he's been outstanding. We talked about everybody raising the game and lifting the standards, and I think he's been right up there. And we've all had to, staff, coaching staff, everybody and every part of the football club. Most importantly, the players, they have to raise their game, and he's certainly done that. You talk about him and John Lundstrom and Fleck, Ender Stevens, John Egan, and they've all had to do it. Some have adapted really well and have been comfortable at this level, and George has done that. He's a talented boy. He works very, very hard at his game away from the lights, and he's getting rewards now that for the hard work that he's putting in terms of his journey from where he started to, and now playing in the Premier League. And as I said to all of them, the key now is to be consistent in your approach. So this isn't just a one season for George. He can go and establish himself in the Premier League by producing really good performances, and I believe he's done that already.
During the international break, some of your players were away. I don't know whether you gave any of your lads any time off, whether you took any time off, or whether you went and took in games or anything.
I went to a game in the south of Spain. A little place between Malaga and Marbella for a couple of days.
That's great stuff. And just
thank you.
Finally, can I just ask, and it is over, it's 20 years ago, so you may think it's way too long ago, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. I think when Sheffield United faced Arsenal 20 odd years ago in the FA Cup, you were part of that squad when there were those 2 games. Do you remember anything about that time? Or
No, I don't think I did. I'm not so sure if I was there at the time. No, but when we've played, we've not played many times in the league, obviously, over the past few years, but you've had some really good games obviously in the cup. Went to one at Old Trafford where David Seaman made an outstanding save, and obviously a couple of other games, and Jags being in goal and whatever. So yeah, there's good stories between both clubs, and hopefully we've got a decent story to tell on Monday night. Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
While Dean Henderson was away, I saw he did an interview and he said he believes he can be the best goalkeeper in the world.
Never.
I just wondered what you thought that said about his work ethic and his attitude.
Well, he's a confident boy, isn't he? So, and he backs himself to do well. And yeah, I read that interview. I believe who he's working with at the moment, he's helping him along fine. Darren, as he said in the interview, that's a specialist position, and I've got full confidence in Darren. Obviously, my fault when Dean makes a mistake, and when he's brilliant, it's Darren gets the credit. So that's how it goes. But no, he's working extremely hard, and he said delighted that he's got the reward of getting in the England squad, and obviously the next step now is to stay in the squad and try and make his full debut, and he only does that by playing very, very well for us, as we talked about. But he's a confident boy. He's a popular boy. He's worked extremely hard to get into this position, and he wants more, and I love that attitude, and that runs through my squad. And obviously when you do get call-ups, those guys are going to get highlighted. But I believe that's the attitude right the way through the squad, that they want to be at this level, and they want to prove themselves. Some have had more opportunities to do that than others, but the likes of George and Ender and Lundstrom and John Egan, they feel this is the way where they can play their best football at this football club in this division. As I said, key now is obviously what Dean says is to back that up, and I'm sure he will.
All jokes aside, do you think he does have that potential though, Chris? To play at the very top?
He has a natural ability as a goalkeeper to keep the ball out the back of the net. As Darren and Dean will no doubt talk about, if you speak to them, he has to keep improving and keep taking his game to the next level. But he's at a decent level now, and the next level is obviously playing for the national side and doing very, very well for us, and then see where that happens, and we'll only know in time. But I'm not surprised that he's saying these words, and it doesn't. I think if it came from somebody else, then I might have a different view of it. But knowing what the boy's about, I smile, and I love it. I love his positivity. His attitude, his reaction to disappointment, as shown against Watford, and the way he'll work to be the best he possibly can. And if he works as hard as he possibly can, he's got the natural ability. Then you never know, where that takes you. Cheers.
Embargo a bit for Mondays.
I was just interested.